Growing older is often described as a time to finally relax and enjoy the fruits of one's labor after decades of hard work, raising families, and contributing to society. It's a vision of golden years filled with leisure, loved ones, and well-earned peace. But for many older adults, this idyllic picture clashes with the stark reality of financial struggles that make daily life increasingly difficult. The rising cost of living, inadequate retirement savings, and the erosion of social safety nets have left countless elderly individuals grappling with how to make ends meet. It's a challenge that comes with not only financial strain, but also an emotional toll, as people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond find themselves worrying about how to stretch their limited resources. For those who've worked tirelessly throughout their lives, the idea of financial insecurity in old age feels particularly unfair. Many older adults were raised to believe that if they put in their time, saved diligently, and planned responsibly, they would be able to retire comfortably. Yet, despite their best efforts, countless seniors find themselves facing mounting expenses that outpace their fixed incomes. Pensions, Social Security benefits, and personal savings often fall short in covering even the basics, let alone the rising costs of medical care, housing, and other necessities. What's left is a frustrating and often demoralizing battle to stay afloat, especially when there seems to be no clear way out. One significant factor contributing to these struggles is the changing landscape of work and retirement savings. Many older adults entered the workforce during a time when pensions were more common and offered a reliable stream of income in retirement. These defined benefit plans promise a degree of financial stability, but over the past few decades, they have largely been replaced by defined contribution plans like 401k, which shift the burden of saving onto individuals. For those who worked in lower-paying jobs or were unable to save enough during their prime working years, this shift has left them at a disadvantage. Retirement accounts, for those who have them, may not provide the steady, predictable income that previous generations relied on, leaving many retirees feeling unprepared for the financial realities of their later years. The rising cost of living compounds the issue further. Inflation continues to eat away at the purchasing power of fixed incomes, making everyday expenses more burdensome. Housing costs, in particular, have skyrocketed in many regions, leaving older adults struggling to keep up with rent, mortgage payments, or property taxes. For those who had hoped to age in place and remain in their long-time homes, these rising costs can force difficult decisions about downsizing or relocating, changes that are often emotionally and physically taxing. Utilities, groceries, and transportation are also more expensive than ever, creating a domino effect that leaves little room in the budget for anything beyond the essentials. Perhaps one of the most pressing concerns for older adults is the rising cost of healthcare. As people age, medical needs tend to increase. And even with programs like Medicare, the out-of-pocket expenses for prescriptions, treatments, and specialist visits can quickly add up. Many older individuals face the difficult choice of prioritizing health over other necessities, cutting back on food, heating, or other essentials just to afford their medications. This constant juggling act can be overwhelming and leaves many feeling as though they are one unexpected medical bill away from financial ruin. The financial struggles of older adults aren't merely a result of personal shortcomings or poor planning. They're also deeply tied to larger societal issues. Wage stagnation over the past several decades has meant that many people entered their retirement years with less savings than they had anticipated. Meanwhile, government programs designed to support seniors, such as Social Security, often fail to keep pace with the actual cost of living. For those relying solely on these benefits, it can feel as though they're being asked to stretch a single dollar further than is humanly possible. Another aspect that is often overlooked is the impact of caregiving responsibilities on financial security in old age. Many seniors spent years caring for loved ones, whether aging parents, children, or even grandchildren, at the expense of their own savings and retirement planning. The sacrifices made for the well-being of others, while noble and loving, can leave older adults vulnerable when they themselves need support. For women in particular, who are more likely to take on caregiving roles and who often earn less than men over the course of their careers, this financial vulnerability can be especially pronounced. The psychological toll of financial insecurity should not be underestimated either. Worrying about money day after day can lead to feelings of shame, frustration, and hopelessness. Many older adults hesitate to talk openly about their struggles, fearing judgment or the stigma of appearing irresponsible. This silence can make the problem even more isolating, leaving individuals to bear the weight of their challenges alone. For some, the stress of financial hardship even leads to declining mental and physical health, creating a vicious cycle that is difficult to escape. All of these factors, rising costs, insufficient savings, unexpected caregiving responsibilities, and inadequate social supports, combine to create a perfect storm that leaves many older adults struggling to make ends meet. It's a problem that doesn't just affect individuals but ripples through families and communities, highlighting the urgent need for better solutions. The fear of running out of money, of not being able to afford the basics or provide for loved ones, can be an all-consuming worry. Yet, for those living through it, this struggle is not just about numbers on a bank statement. It's about dignity, security, and the ability to enjoy the years they've worked so hard to reach. For many older adults, the struggle to make ends meet also stems from a lifetime of unforeseen challenges and sacrifices that disrupted their financial planning. Life doesn't always follow a predictable path, and events such as job loss, illness, divorce, or economic downturns can derail even the most carefully constructed plans. Over the years, these challenges accumulate, leaving seniors with fewer resources than they had expected. What's more, as people age, the ability to recover from financial setbacks diminishes. A younger person might have time to find a new job, rebuild savings, or adjust to changes in income. But for older adults, those opportunities often feel out of reach. One of the most painful aspects of financial struggles in old age is the feeling of powerlessness. Many seniors live on fixed incomes, meaning their monthly budgets are determined by sources such as Social Security, pensions, or retirement savings. While these amounts remain largely stagnant, the cost of essentials, like food, utilities, and healthcare, continue to rise. The result is a growing gap between income and expenses, which forces retirees to make difficult decisions about where to cut back. For many, this means foregoing small pleasures, like dining out or hobbies, that once brought joy and fulfillment. Over time, these sacrifices can lead to feelings of loss and disconnection, as seniors become more isolated and less able to participate in the activities they once loved. Housing remains one of the most significant financial burdens for many older adults. The dream of owning a home outright by retirement, a common goal for previous generations, has become increasingly difficult to achieve. Rising property taxes, home maintenance costs, and mortgage debt leave many homeowners struggling to hold onto their houses. For those who rent, the situation can be even more precarious as rent prices climb steadily year after year. Some seniors find themselves facing eviction or homelessness, a prospect that is especially devastating for individuals who have worked hard their entire lives. Affordable housing options for seniors are limited, and waiting lists for subsidized housing can stretch for years, leaving many without viable alternatives. For seniors who do decide or are forced to downsize, the transition is rarely simple. Moving from a beloved home into a smaller apartment, senior living community, or shared housing often comes with emotional challenges, as well as logistical and financial hurdles. Many older adults face the expense of hiring movers, selling belongings, and adjusting to higher rents or unexpected fees. Additionally, leaving a familiar neighborhood can mean losing access to a support network of friends, neighbors, and community resources that may have provided a sense of stability. Healthcare costs remain another looming threat to financial stability. While Medicare provides a safety net for many seniors, it doesn't cover everything. Prescription medications, dental care, vision services, and long-term care are often only partially covered, or not covered at all, leaving seniors to pay out of pocket for these critical expenses. For those managing chronic conditions, the costs can be overwhelming, and skipping necessary treatments due to financial constraints can lead to worsening health problems. The stress of navigating a complex healthcare system, combined with the fear of mounting bills, creates a sense of vulnerability that can be hard to shake. Another aspect of financial struggle that often goes unnoticed is the growing burden of debt among older adults. In the past, retirement was seen as a time to live debt-free, but today's seniors are increasingly entering retirement with mortgages, credit card debt, and even student loans. Many took on debt to help their children with education or to cover unexpected medical bills. But paying it off becomes a daunting challenge when income is fixed. Interest rates and late fees can quickly spiral out of control, leaving seniors trapped in a cycle of debt that erodes their financial security and peace of mind. The evolving role of family support also plays a part in the financial challenges faced by older adults. Traditionally, families were more likely to live together or provide direct financial assistance to aging relatives, but modern life has shifted those dynamics. Adult children often live far away or face financial struggles of their own, leaving many seniors without the intergenerational support that was once common. While some families are still able to provide help, others find themselves stretched thin with limited resources to share. This lack of support can leave older adults feeling isolated and unsure where to turn for help. Social isolation itself becomes both a cause and consequence of financial struggles. When money is tight, many seniors cut back on activities that once kept them connected to their communities, such as church events, clubs, or social outings. Transportation can also become a barrier, especially for those who can no longer afford a car or rely on public transit. Over time, this isolation can take a toll on mental and emotional well-being, creating a cycle in which financial hardship leads to loneliness, which in turn exacerbates feelings of hopelessness and despair. Amid these challenges, many older adults feel a profound sense of shame about their financial struggles. There's a cultural expectation that by the time a person reaches retirement age, they should have everything figured out. This expectation often leads seniors to blame themselves for their difficulties, even when those challenges are rooted in systemic issues beyond their control. The stigma around financial hardship prevents many from seeking help, whether from family, friends, or community resources. Instead, they suffer in silence, trying to make do with what little they have and worrying about what the future may hold. Despite these hardships, older adults are often incredibly resilient. Many find creative ways to adapt, such as taking on part-time work, sharing housing with roommates, or participating in community assistance programs. However, these solutions are rarely easy and often come with trade-offs. Working in one's 60s, 70s, or even 80s can be physically demanding, especially for those with health issues or mobility limitations. Sharing living spaces may provide financial relief, but can also create tensions or challenges in maintaining privacy and independence. And while community programs can be a lifeline, they are often underfunded or difficult to access, leaving many seniors feeling as though they are navigating an uphill battle. The challenges faced by older adults who struggle financially are deeply complex and interconnected. Each individual's story is shaped by a unique combination of personal, societal, and economic factors that have led to their current circumstances. For many, the journey through these struggles is not just about finding ways to make ends meet, but about holding on to their dignity and sense of self-worth in the face of adversity. It is a reminder that aging can also bring with it a host of challenges. The weight of financial insecurity in old age is a constant presence, but it's a burden made even heavier by the lack of sufficient social safety nets and systemic support. For decades, programs like Social Security, Medicare, and Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Programs, SNAP, have served as lifelines for millions of older adults. However, these systems, while essential, are often stretched too thin to meet the needs of the growing senior population. Social Security benefits, for instance, were never intended to fully replace a person's income in retirement. Yet for many seniors, they serve as the primary or even sole source of financial support. When these benefits fail to keep up with inflation or provide enough to cover the basics, older adults are left scrambling to fill the gaps. Medicare, too, while invaluable, has its limits. It doesn't cover long-term care or most dental, vision, and hearing expenses, services that are critical to maintaining quality of life as we age. Without supplemental insurance or substantial savings, many seniors find themselves forced to forego these essential services altogether. The gaps in coverage leave some to rely on emergency rooms for routine care or put off addressing medical issues until they become unmanageable. This cycle not only exacerbates physical and mental health challenges, but also creates additional financial strain, as untreated conditions often lead to more costly interventions down the road. For those who fall outside the thresholds to qualify for assistance programs, the situation is even more dire. Many older adults live just above the income cutoff for government aid, leaving them in a precarious position where they are too rich to receive benefits, but far too poor to cover their expenses comfortably. This so-called benefits cliff leaves many feeling abandoned, as though they've fallen through the cracks of a system designed to support them. They may spend years carefully managing their limited resources, only to watch their savings dwindle with each unexpected expense. The result is a growing sense of anxiety about the future, as financial instability threatens to erode what little security they have left. One of the most heartbreaking aspects of financial struggle in old age is how it limits access to meaningful experiences and opportunities for joy. Aging should be a time to explore passions, spend time with loved ones, and reflect on a life well lived. Yet for those burdened by financial worries, these opportunities can feel out of reach. Vacations, dining out, or even small indulgences like a new book or a trip to the theater are often deemed luxuries they can no longer afford. This deprivation doesn't just impact quality of life, it also chips away at one's sense of identity and self-worth. When life becomes solely about survival, the richness and beauty of daily experiences can be lost. The ripple effects of financial hardship extend far beyond individual households. Communities feel the strain as well, as more seniors rely on local organizations, food banks, and charities to fill in the gaps. These resources, while critical, are often underfunded and overwhelmed by demand, making it difficult to provide consistent long-term support. As more older adults require assistance, the pressure on these systems grows, creating a cycle in which both individuals and communities struggle to keep up. This imbalance not only limits the help available, but also fosters a sense of competition among those in need, as individuals may feel compelled to justify their hardships or prove their worthiness for assistance. The psychological toll of this reality cannot be overstated. Financial insecurity in old age is often accompanied by feelings of shame, guilt, and frustration. Many older adults feel as though they have failed, even when their struggles are the result of circumstances beyond their control. This internalized stigma makes it harder to seek help or advocate for change, as pride and fear of judgment can lead to silence and isolation. The emotional burden of constantly worrying about money can also contribute to depression and anxiety, further compounding the challenges of navigating daily life. In some cases, financial hardship forces older adults to take drastic measures to make ends meet. Some return to the workforce, even in their 70s or 80s, taking on part-time or low-wage jobs that are physically demanding and emotionally draining. Others sell off personal belongings, cash out life insurance policies, or take on reverse mortgages, which often come with their own risks and complications. While these measures may provide temporary relief, they rarely offer a sustainable solution and can leave seniors feeling as though they are sacrificing their dignity and independence in the process. Yet despite the gravity of these challenges, there are glimpses of hope and resilience among older adults facing financial hardship. Many turn to their communities, building support networks of friends, neighbors, and peers who understand the struggle. These networks provide not only practical assistance, such as shared meals, transportation, or advice on navigating assistance programs, but also a sense of camaraderie and belonging. Knowing they are not alone in their struggles can be a powerful antidote to the isolation and despair that often accompany financial insecurity. Advocacy and activism among seniors are also gaining momentum as older adults band together to demand better policies and protections. From lobbying for increased Social Security benefits to advocating for affordable housing and healthcare reform, these efforts demonstrate the power of collective action. By raising their voices and sharing their stories, seniors are challenging the stereotypes that too often paint aging as a passive or powerless stage of life. Instead, they are showing that even in the face of hardship, there is strength in unity and a determination to create change. Addressing the systemic issues behind financial struggles in old age requires a multifaceted approach. It means not only improving existing programs like Social Security and Medicare, but also expanding access to affordable housing, healthcare, and community services. It requires acknowledging and addressing the unique challenges faced by caregivers, widows, and marginalized groups who are disproportionately affected by financial hardship. Most importantly, it means fostering a culture of respect and understanding for older adults, one that values their contributions and recognizes their ongoing potential. While the road ahead may be uncertain, one thing is clear. The financial struggles faced by older adults are not inevitable. They are the result of societal choices, and with the right focus and effort, those choices can be changed. By supporting one another and advocating for solutions, seniors can reclaim their dignity and security, ensuring that their later years are not defined by hardship, but by the fulfillment and peace they deserve. After a lifetime of hard work and sacrifice, it is not too much to ask for a future where aging is met with stability, respect, and the freedom to live life fully. In the end, it's clear that the financial struggles many older adults face are not simply personal issues, but a reflection of larger societal challenges that need urgent attention. After years of hard work and dedication, it's only fair that everyone should be able to enjoy their golden years without the constant worry of making ends meet. Whether it's the rising cost of housing, the limitations of Social Security, or the lack of affordable health care, these obstacles shouldn't define what should be a peaceful and fulfilling stage of life. While the road may feel uphill at times, there's always hope in the resilience of communities and the potential for change when people come together to demand better systems of support. Speaking of hope and togetherness, how about we take a moment to appreciate the strength and wisdom that older generations bring to our lives? Whether it's the lessons learned from decades of experience, the stories shared over a warm cup of coffee, or the simple but powerful reminder to find joy in life's little moments, there's so much to value and celebrate. And honestly, if you've made it this far, give yourself a pat on the back because you're doing amazing just by showing up every day and facing the challenges head on. Now, if we're being real for a second, I know this discussion might have hit close to home for some of you. Maybe you felt the pinch of rising prices, or you've had to make those tough decisions about what to prioritize in your budget. You're not alone in this. There are so many others walking a similar path, and it's important to remember that help and resources do exist. And hey, if you found anything helpful or comforting here, take it as a sign to keep pushing forward. You're stronger than you might think. Before I wrap things up, I just want to say how grateful I am that you've taken the time to listen. Whether you're here out of curiosity, looking for understanding, or simply trying to connect with others who share your experiences, you're part of something bigger. And that's the beauty of these conversations. They remind us that none of us have to navigate this alone. Okay, enough of my yapping. I hope you found this time worthwhile and maybe even a little inspiring. Life may have its challenges, but there's always room to hope, dream, and keep moving forward. And with that, I wish you a truly wonderful day filled with moments of joy, peace, and connection. Take care of yourselves and each other. You've got this. Oh, and before you go, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed today's video. It helps us keep the conversation going and bring you the latest uploads. Until next time, take care and stay strong. See you soon.